Hello guys, Omni here. At KH Orchestra today, fans got a special peek from Nomura himself, revealing the first trailer for the upcoming DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, begging fans at the stadium not to record and leak the footage, and, you know, bearing that if that this footage does end up being leaked, that there would be consequences. What those consequences are have remained to be seen. But I have a couple ideas which I'll go into after this. So the video leaked. Somebody recorded it from the orchestra, somebody uploaded it. It was online within minutes after it was aired, and no more than about, I think, half an hour after the leak hit the internet, Square responded from their YouTube channel and uploaded the trailer. They put it out on the web. It's on YouTube currently. So we're going to be covering that today. I feel bad about this because I honestly know that this is a reaction to the leak hitting the web. It was pretty much assumed that we weren't, the world and the public wasn't going to get this trailer until tomorrow at their E3 conference. So I'm not sure if we're just going to be, this is going to be getting played again officially, or there's going to be an English trailer tomorrow, or something a little different, a little more, or they'll probably elaborate on some things more tomorrow, but I really know how the leaks and the stolen copies that hit the streets kind of like affected Nomura. He was really upset about that, along with most of Square and the people that worked on the game. So it sucks. It really does, but I don't know. We're going to talk about what I think might happen as a result of this after this, but it is up. It is on the web. It is officially uploaded by Square now. Despite the events that led to this, we're just going to go ahead and check out the trailer and see how we react to it. Here we go. So, the coat wards off darkness. Is that Master of Masters? It is useful. Told ya. So how'd it go? The world tour. So, in an awful way, I realize just how necessary I am. Oh, playing as Riku in the Keyblade Graveyard fights Aqua. Oh, Roxas. Dude, look at that. That looks... Yes! An Oathkeeper transformation in Keyblade? Zigbar, who are you? Well, we know. We know who he is. Alright. It doesn't make any difference to me anyway. I'll just keep playing dumb. The question is, who are you, Lushord? Okay, I don't know who that is referring to. Coming this winter. Oh, didn't mean to hit that. Not really a whole lot. There's no reason to go back and freeze frame through any of that. It's pretty blatant, like what all's in this. It looks like some of the alternate scenarios. Now, they said that there'd be like a final mix-ish version of the DLC that would expand upon the game that's already there, adding content, new forms for Sora, new Keyblade. I don't know if we're only getting the one Keyblade and the one form, but we saw that it was Oathkeeper. Makes me wonder if there might be an Oblivion, something we might see later, or if it's just going to be Oathkeeper. Because honestly, Oathkeeper is my favorite Keyblade, so it not being in there was a little sad to me, but I'm glad to see that it's making its way back in. So I'm really curious what aspects of this is going to be in there, because we saw that there was going to be a limit episode and a secret episode that would each have their own additional stories, their own additional scenarios, as well as their own boss editions and stuff like that for, you know, challenges and whatnot. Adding content. But as like with the Final Mix story, we would get like addition, new cutscenes, stuff like that added in to flavor up and explain some things that maybe didn't get completely fleshed out in the initial release. So I'm really curious what all this is pulling from, if it's one scenario, if it's a combination of them, or if this is strictly from the Remind kind of additions to the game itself. There's a lot of ways you can pull apart this. We did get there was confirmation from Nomura at the last Orchestra event in Japan that Shion and her return is something that will be explored and explained in one of the scenarios in the DLC. He didn't specify which one. He didn't specify whether it would actually be in the final mix, additional scenes, the things that expand and evolve the story, or if it's going to be one of these new episodes that goes and dives into it. Really, there's still a lot about this we don't really know, but these cutscenes, there's this lore here. This seems to be young Xehanort meeting Master of Masters before the events that set all this up in the Keyblade Graveyard, because he's like, I showed you the world. He's introducing the cloak to Xehanort. So feels like something from the past. That's my guess. This is the first time that, young Xehanort or Xehanort has, experienced these cloaks that protect them from the darkness, which we know that the Master of Masters in centuries long past, however long Union Cross and all that takes place back in the past, that they had these suits, that they had these cloaks, that Master of Masters and Luxu both had a organization type cloak. So they did exist prior to the organization. So this could be how Xehanort gets them and then also introduces them and provides them for the rest of the organization in the future. Curious how that's going to pan out. I still think I don't think Master of Masters is going to be a completely new character. I think when it gets all revealed, I think Kingdom Hearts is so in just inside of itself that I think my theory, honestly, at this point, originally it was that the Master of Masters was going to be Xigbar, but obviously that turned out to be Luxu, as we now know. But that my next guess is Demyx, because it all comes down to his body language and how he acts. And the only other person that we've seen animated that much and that we know, the only two people we don't have a clear idea of their link to the time before the Keyblade War, the first Keyblade War, is Luxord and Demyx. Those are the only two we don't really have a pure understanding of where they fit into the timeline here. Larxene and Marluxia, we both know what they've been up to, what they were going, at least at some point during Union Cross. Demyx and Luxord, we still really don't know a lot about, or anything about, really. So I think it's fair to speculate that Master of Masters may just be Demyx. Maybe Demyx doesn't have all of his memories at this point. Maybe the chest has something to do with that, to awaken him in the future. Who Luxord is? No idea. What his importance is going to be? No idea. I'm sure the card that he gave Sora has some kind of play into what that might be, but who knows? Lots of speculation out the gate. And we saw that there were the only other things we see in this trailer other than Sora, his new Keyblade, his new Keyblade form, is the Keyblade Graveyard fights, where we're not playing as Sora these times around. So I'm really wondering how that's going to come back into play if you kind of get like a choice when you're going into these fights. If you go and play through it again, is there going to be like a place where you redo the battles and you can do them as another character? We only see playable in this Roxas, Aqua, and Riku. And I'm wondering if it's going to be limited to them, other than, because we only did those fights with Sora going through it in the main game. So I'm wondering, some of those fights had two additional companions, like with Shion in the one fight, or we had Ventus in the other fight with Aqua. So I'm wondering if you'll be able to do any of these fights as anybody that was actually there for that fight. That would be really interesting. That would give us a lot more flexibility with who's playable in this upcoming expansion without really having to expand the game too much. So I don't know. It's really interesting, and I'm excited for this. It won't be coming out until this winter. However, like I said, going back to the consequences that Nomura brought up, he already threatened in the wake of all of the leaks and the spoilers and the way that it was spreading across the internet like wildfire before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. He had already talked about they've already started discussing returning to their old global release structure, which has it releasing in Japan months before it releases in any other country. Using Kingdom Hearts 2 as the last time this really happened with the Kingdom Hearts franchise as an example, it released in I think it was like December 22nd-ish. It was towards the end of December in Japan was when it released, and it didn't release until the end of March in North America. That was 3 months of a difference there. And then it didn't even come out in Europe or Australia until September of that next year. So that was another 9 months before those countries got it. With the way the internet is now and the way it wasn't back then, the way things are now is so much more volatile, and it's all about getting those fake internet points and spreading this stuff, spreading it around, being the one to get that attention for spreading the word and getting those clicks, getting your video all hot and viral and stuff like that wasn't something they had to deal with really that much. And I feel like Nomura is kind of leaning in to make that worse. Not to hate on Nomura at all. I love the man. I just feel like where he had his head buried in his work on Versus 13 for all of those years before he was forced to actually devote all of his time to Kingdom Hearts 3, that I feel like he doesn't really fully understand how the internet operates, at least outside of Japan or outside of YouTube and Twitter at this point, because it's just a volatile place no matter how you look at it. Even with Kingdom Hearts 3 releasing just a couple days early in Japan than it did in North America, YouTube's algorithm was already pushing out Japanese Let's Plays and spoilers for the game, and it was only 3 days old. And like, this would just worsen that in today's atmosphere, that with social media, how it is now, and how fast news travels. Look at this leaked like less than an hour ago, and it's just everywhere now. Twitter was just, there was a new tweet every couple of seconds blasting through everything as this was happening, and that's just how things are now. And he did say there would be consequences for those that did break the rules, that released this trailer ahead of Square wanting it to be out in the field, with it now being out in the field as a response to what happened at the event. So I don't know what those consequences would be unless it is a punishment to the rest of the world outside of Japan. I was like, oh, guess what? Well, we'll get it early, and you guys will just have to have it ruined for you. And then will people still buy it like they did? Kingdom Hearts 3 is still the top selling game of this year. Nothing has passed it yet. And I feel like as a knee-jerk kind of response, that would be to like kind of take that high ground and, you know, this is your punishment. I think that would hurt sales for this paid DLC in the long run. The hardcore devoted fans will 100% get this, but anybody that just jumped on recently with Kingdom Hearts 3 with the recent expansions, the collections, and all of that, who knows? I don't know. It seems like such a knee-jerk reaction to go that route, but that's just how I feel. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. I don't blame Square. This is something they worked so hard on for so long, and the internet just, some people out there that just wanted to get that quick internet fame, that just wanted to ruin that trust that Nomura had with us and the fan base, and just throw that in the dirt is really, I can't blame them. I mean, it has to hurt being a developer on that game and having this kind of stuff happen, especially with the early copies of the game getting stolen, with this getting leaked or ahead of time, with leaks just pouring out before the release of Kingdom Hearts 3 after this 13-year hiatus on the series, the main series. And it's just, I completely understand being completely broken by that response. And I think that there's the potential that this could just hurt everybody. But who knows? We'll see. We'll see how they react to this. Like I said, they already released this trailer early, so who knows? I'm sure we'll hear a little bit more tomorrow. Maybe get a big old shaking finger at us all. You kids, how dare you? I warned you tomorrow at the E3 press conference, so who knows? That's my thoughts for this. Please share your own in the comments below. I feel dirty for even kind of covering this, but it is officially on the space, and, you know, it is what it is. It already happened. We can't change the past. So at this point, we just got to roll with it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Thank you guys. We'll carry on this conversation after the video. If you like this video, make sure to support the channel, hit that like button, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.